Tony Schiavone interviewed Sting on this show, and again he asked him, why did you come to AEW? We're still trying to get an answer. Why are you here? Why did you come to AEW? We at least got some semblance of an answer, still not a very good one. We also got the best damn Dusty Rhodes impression that I have ever heard, and we got it from Sting, of all people. And everybody, it seems like, has a Dusty Rhodes impression. I think Jim Ross has one, Bruce Pritchard. Everybody who knew him or interacted with him has their own Dusty Rhodes impression. And there are some good ones, but Sting's is on another level. And I don't think I've ever heard him do a Dusty impression before. So it kind of caught me off guard how good it was. I mean, if you closed your eyes, you would swear that it was Dusty Rhodes. But he did the impression and everything because he said it all goes back to Dusty giving him his big break. And when Sting saw Dusty's son, I guess poor Dustin, he's talking about Cody. When he saw Cody, he knew he had to be part of AEW. I guess to help the company, I guess. I don't know. Again, it wasn't the best explanation of why he's here. But before he could address Darby Allin, who again was up in the stands, watching from the upper deck, out comes Team Taz. And they threatened to come after Sting. The lights went out when they came back on. Sting was in the ring with the baseball bat. Darby was right next to him with his skateboard. And Taz backed off. You would watch this and think, well, this must be leading to a tag team match of some kind involving Sting. And maybe it will. One thing we learned this week from the man himself, Sting was on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, and we learned that part of the reason he came to AEW was because he told Tony Khan, I'm interested in doing cinematic style matches. And that's because he was unhappy with the way his WWE career ended. He wants to come back and wrestle again, even if it's only cinematically, because he was very unhappy with the way his WWE career came to an end. He said, I did not want to disappear with my tail between my legs. I didn't want it to end the way that it ended. I was pushing to get a cinema-style match with Undertaker. For probably a litany of different reasons, it just wasn't going to happen. So when Tony Khan called and spoke with me, he said, are you interested in doing cinema-style matches? I said, yeah, I am. I thought I'd like to come back and do that and not disappear again with my tail between my legs. I don't have to go out on top, just to go out in a positive light. And for as much as you could say, I guess, that, hey, Sting went out in WWE in the main event of a pay-per-view challenging for the WWE title, right? I mean, I could think of worse ways for him to go out, but I get it. It was tough to watch the end of that match. He fought through it. He continued the match. They went to the finish. But to see him on wobbly legs like that after that second buckle bomb, and he couldn't even support his own weight, he got whipped into the ropes and he collapsed. It was sad. It was sad to see him in that state. And I can understand him saying, man, I've wrestled all these years, this long career I've had, 25, 30 plus years. And for it to end with me literally collapsing in a heap like that, he feels that he has to go out in a better way. So I get it. Still question the wisdom of him doing any kind of singles match, but if cinematic style matches are what are in his future, then I think that would make the most sense. But let's be perfectly clear on something here. The blame goes both ways for why he never got that match with The Undertaker. Okay, it was there for the taking 5 years ago. If Vince McMahon wanted to do it, if The Undertaker wanted to do it, they could have gotten it done at WrestleMania 31. There really was no reason to not do it at WrestleMania 31, looking back on it now. It would have been a huge attraction. Bigger than Triple H and Sting. So they had their chance, they wasted it. But also, Sting gets some of the blame for that too. Because Sting is the one who kept signing and re-signing those little one-year deals with TNA and Dixie Carter over and over and over again. And he aged in that time another 10 years. 10 years of his career. Might have been more than 10. Spent in TNA. Re-signing year after year when 5 years earlier than he did, he could have said, you know what? I really want to go to WWE. I'm interested in a match with Undertaker. Let me talk to Vince McMahon. Let me talk to his team. See if there's mutual interest. He would have been 5 years younger than he was. And maybe they could have put the match together back then. My sense of it in listening to The Undertaker talk about it a few months ago was he just really didn't think it was going to be a good match. He realized that he's older, he has limitations. Sting is even older than he is. Now, I think Sting looks damn good for his age, especially facially, but he's wearing fucking makeup. So that helps in terms of him not looking really like an old man. He can still go out and cut a promo. He's got this youthful thing about his promos when he's out there. He doesn't sound like an old man. But I really think Undertaker just looked at it and said, man, I don't want to go out there and embarrass myself. If I'm going to go out there, I need to be out there with an AJ Styles or somebody like Shawn, right? AJ's the closest thing he said to a Shawn Michaels. Then I know I'll be okay because we can do smoke and mirrors and the guy can bump around for me. He probably looked at it and said, I don't know that we can make this work. I'm 50-something. Sting's, at that time he was in his late 50s. This is going to be a train wreck. I mean, the entrances and the build-up might be great, but when the bell rings, this is going to be a disaster, and I don't want people to remember me or remember this as a disaster. And I think it scared him. But what if Sting had come in 5-6 years earlier? Would he have had a different opinion on that? You can't blame Vince McMahon for that. The only person to blame for that is Sting. He had a lot of trepidation about coming to WWE. He really worried about how they were going to treat him. Or if they were going to bury him. Oh, he's a WCW guy. They're going to make him look bad. I don't think they went out of their way to make him look bad, but yeah, guess what? They really did drop the ball with Sting when he came in. Sting wasn't totally wrong. But the blame goes both ways. You can't just put the blame on Vince McMahon and WWE for why that match... And I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying there are a lot of people who will just blame Vince McMahon for that. The blame goes both ways. Both parties deserve blame in that match not taking place. But cinematic style matches is the way to go. Or some kind of multi-man match. But the point is, the big news is, coming out of it, he confirmed it. We will be seeing Sting wrestle in AEW. It just sounds like it may not be in front of a crowd of people. This Wednesday, it is night one of AEW's New Year's Smash. It's going to be a very emotional night, I'm sure, after the events of this weekend. Kenny Omega defends the AEW title against Rey Fenix. The return of Jon Moxley is being advertised. Shida defends her women's title against Abaddon. And Jake Hager has issued the challenge to Wardlow, who is not on the show this week. He was tending to family matters. They will meet one-on-one this Wednesday. In 2 weeks, on night 2, that's January 6th, Darby Allin defends the TNT title against Brian Cage, Jurassic Express take on FTR, and Cody Rhodes takes on Matt Sydal. And Cody's his fellow judge, his co-host on the Go Big Show, Snoop Dogg, is going to be making an appearance as well. Maybe he'll be doing commentary for Cody's match. So that is the New Year's Smash lineup coming up for the next 2 weeks. We will be back to normal this Wednesday. I'll be reviewing Dynamite live on YouTube at 10 p.m. And I hope you will join me then.